Yesterday's video I mentioned about Nuno and the need in January to go out and get some defensive reinforcements. And then I stumbled across a story today which seems to suggest that Nuno has got his eye on, in the January transfer window, a striker. Yep, I've never claimed to be an ITK, guys, so I'm just a fan the same as you. But the player's name is Vitor Roque. Vitor Roque is 20 years of age and he's currently on the books at Palmeiras in Brazil. This is the same club that we got a certain Luis Guilherme from, and he is connected to the story, as you'll find out in a moment. We'll dig into it. But all this is about people's opinions, and look, there might be people that watch this that are very fully aware of Vitor Roque's capabilities. I'm not. I don't know this guy from Adam, but some of you guys might be familiar with this guy. So, if you are, if you know anything about this guy, comment sections below. Really would appreciate you getting stuck in and see what your opinions are all about. And remember, why don't you drop a like on the stream if you like the content, and maybe if you've got a spare hype this week, please feel free to donate it to this broadcast. Why not share this onto your social media platforms? And most importantly of all, check to see if you are subscribed. If you're not, click the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and you'll be notified of any new content as and when it's uploaded to the channel. It's completely free of charge, takes a second of your time. It just simply helps to grow the channel into something bigger than it is right now, and we always thank you very much indeed for your support. Come join us on this journey. So, Vitor Roque, 20 years of age, he has one cap for the Brazilian national team. Now, his backstory is, he came through at Cruzeiro, and he was transferred from there and then had a little spell at Atlético Paranaense. It was from there that he got a big move to the Catalan super club Barcelona, one of the biggest names in world football. Now, Barcelona, obviously at the time they bought him in, clearly must have thought this kid had something about him, because they inserted some ridiculous buyout clause in his contract. I think I read it was something like 300 million euros. It was some ridiculous figure. So clearly at the time they bought him, they thought that this guy was the bee's knees. Now, it didn't quite go to plan. I think he had something like, I think it was about 15 or so competitive matches for Barcelona. More matches than I've ever played for him, in fairness. But he was there for about, I don't know, a year, something like that. He then got a loan move to Real Betis. Now, at Betis, he would have come across two former West Ham employees, one in Manuel Pellegrini and the other being a certain Pablo Fornells. Now, from there, and he was still obviously under the ownership of Barcelona because it was a loan to Betis. He then got transferred back to Brazil, and it was February this year that he made the move to Palmeiras. Now, I don't know if this is still the case, but certainly at the time the transfer took place, he became the most expensive player in South American history to be transferred into South American football. 25.5 million euros, I think, was the total transfer fee. Now, he is apparently on the radar of Nuno to come into West Ham in January and be our striking sensation, like they all are, like Nicholas Fulkrug was supposed to be, but that's another story. But anyway, 20 years of age, he's obviously got a little bit about himself, because look, you don't generally tend to get a move to Barcelona if you're a complete muppet, but it didn't really work out for him either, and Betis didn't shell out the money, so he ended up going back to South America pretty quickly. But maybe he's learnt from that, and obviously, look, we got to put our trust in the manager, I guess, until he gives us a reason to not trust him. What do you think? Now, I mentioned about Luis Guilherme. Now, Luis Guilherme holds the key to this, because Luis Guilherme, who used to play for Palmeiras, apparently could be used as something of a make-weight in the deal. The story goes that this could be a player plus cash deal. And I think it's probably fair to say that if you're Luis Guilherme, you're hardly likely to turn around and say that the move to West Ham has really worked out a treat, would you? Quite the reverse. So I guess from his point of view, if you stop and think about it, come the January transfer window, if you're offered a move back to your old club, Palmeiras, back to Brazil, back to where you're comfortable, your surroundings are all familiar, you're probably likely to turn around and give it some sort of thought at the very least, if not jump at the chance. So Luis Guilherme could be on his way in January, and as part of that departure there could be the arrival of Vitor Roque at striker. What do you think? Do any of you guys know this fella? As I say, one cap for Brazil, he's been at Barcelona, he's been at Betis, he's the most expensive player, at least he was when he got transferred to Palmeiras earlier this year. He became the most expensive transfer into South American football. And now it looks like Nuno's looking at him as our striking saviour. But I have not got a clue about this guy. Kind of hoping some of you guys might. And if you have, wherever that might have been, whether if you've got some sort of expertise on South American football, or maybe you caught him at Barcelona or Betis, let me know your thoughts. The comment section is below. Personally, I think it's a risk, but I guess there's always going to be risks with any signing. I mean, take Niklas Füllkrug, German international. He had a pedigree of playing in a Champions League final shortly before we bought him. His international goal scoring record was sensational. When you looked at it, I think it was 14 goals in 24 caps, which is ridiculous. That's hardly worked out a treat, has it, since he's come to the London Stadium? That's been an absolute, as I said, absolute disaster. Could this be something different? Might this be a little bit of magic dust that Nuno can sprinkle and bring in a player that probably is quite unknown to a lot of people? Bring him in, fire us up the league table, and possibly be someone that, given that he's 20 years of age, it would be quite nice to be able to maybe in a couple of years' time, if this kid works out, that we move him on at a profit, as opposed to what we normally do, which is buy an old and knackered player and then we end up losing an absolute stack load of money on them. That's normally the West Ham way as far as transfers are concerned, especially strikers, let's be honest. Could this buck the trend? That's the question I ask. Could this be the answer? Or is this just going to be another one of a long line of strikers that we buy that are absolute duds? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Vitor Roque from Palmeiras in a Player Plus cash deal involving Luis Guilherme going the other way. Give me your thoughts. Please also don't forget to drop a like on the stream. Why don't you consider giving us a hype if you've got one available? Share this onto your social media platforms. And finally, check to see if you're subscribed, and if you're not, hit subscribe and click the notification bell. Completely free of charge, takes you a second of your time. You don't get any data sensitive information, it literally just grows the channel into something bigger than what you find it currently. Come join us on this journey, and we thank you very much indeed for your support. And on the screen now you can see 2 extra videos, and the button in the middle will help you to subscribe to the channel. Take care, come on you irons.